Welcome back to the Joe Walsh Show. The number one issue for Americans right now is immigration. That's a good thing. Then the Syrian civil war appears to be winding down. We'll discuss that and other things with the great Brigitte Gabriel. And finally, our Friday edition of the Gallery of the Stupid, the NFL and the District of Columbia. Let's talk immigration, though, shall we? And I love to talk with Ira Mehlman. He is with the Federation for American Immigration Reform. Ira, thank you this Friday for taking some time. Gallup did a poll, what concerns Americans the most. Immigration, the issue of immigration, broadly speaking, came out on top. Is that a good thing or not?
It is a good thing. Obviously, this is a policy that hasn't been serving the interests of the nation for a long time. The American public has been saying for a long time that they think that there are serious reforms that need to be made, that we need to enforce our immigration laws. Clearly, the 2016 election had a lot to do with immigration. But, for the past 2 years, you've had a Republican leadership in Congress that has kind of dragged its feet. And on the other side, you have a Democratic Party that is becoming increasingly hostile to any form of immigration enforcement. As a matter of fact, just this week, they voted against, by and large, a resolution in the House of Representatives just to support ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Bureau, and the work that they do. So, what we're seeing in this country is some very clear choices that are before us. We need some kind of leadership, particularly from the party that ran on and was elected on a pledge to enforce our immigration laws.
Well, you're right, Ira, and in fact, I do believe this was Trump's campaign. This was his single most important issue, to do something about immigration. Ira, though, when you look at it like a Gallup poll like this, when the American people think immigration, is it immigration more broadly, or are they thinking specifically people coming into this country illegally?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. Obviously, the illegality offends people that, people can just come into this country and demand to be allowed to stay here. But also the impact of just a generation, or even more than a generation, of mass immigration. A country has to have time to. What we're having now is a situation where you have large-scale immigration, both legal and illegal. You have a lot of people coming whose skills don't necessarily fit the needs of our economy. It is creating issues. It's not that they're bad people. They are good people coming for understandable reasons, but we're losing sight of the fact that immigration is a public policy. It is there to serve some identifiable public interests, and most Americans feel those interests are being neglected.
And I'm with you, and you're right in that I think we need to cut back as well on our legal immigration for a while. And that's clearly where I think Trump is and some Republicans. But broadly speaking, Ira, the rest of my former Republican colleagues in the House, that's not really where the Republican Party is generally, are they? I think I lost Ira Mehlman. Ira, we'll try to get him back. Are you there, my friend? This issue of legal immigration, we spend so much time talking about people in this country illegally. But for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, we've increased the number of people that we've allowed into this country legally. And the people that we've allowed into this country legally, as Ira mentioned, the people have changed, and it's got nothing to do with color, and it's got nothing to do with where they're coming from. Ira, this point of legal immigration, when somebody like me says on the radio or my TV show, we need a pause, we need to curtail legal immigration for a while. Most of my Republican Party opposes that, don't they?
Well, you do. I mean, you really have two Republican parties here. You have a part of the Republican Party that is still in the pocket of Wall Street and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And what they demand is more access to low-wage labor. They're not really concerned about what's best for the nation. They're concerned about what's best for their bottom line. You have another factor of the Republican Party that has been saying, look, this isn't serving any identifiable public interest, that we need to move away from family chain migration, where we just take the next people based on who they happen to be related to, and let's have a leaner immigration policy that selects people, irrespective of where they're coming from, that do fit better into the needs of the United States, that have the skills that are necessary to advance and succeed in this country. These are reasonable positions that most Americans support, but you have pressures on the Republican Party that are saying, no, don't do that. Let's keep the status quo because it's favoring us.
Ira, as you mentioned earlier, it was a symbolic vote. It was a non-binding resolution in the House just to say that we support ICE. We support our immigration cops. How the heck can the Democrats in the House not even make that vote?
It's amazing that what they really lack here is any sort of courage. They're being pushed on one side by sort of the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wing of the party that says, let's just abolish all kinds of immigration enforcement. They don't want to offend that radical base, but they also don't want to offend the constituents back home who, by and large, support the need for immigration enforcement. So what most Democrats did this week was they voted present, which is essentially abstaining from this vote. More than anything else, they lack the political courage to take a side here, and that ought to be appalling. The American people understand the need for immigration enforcement. Our immigration enforcement agency, ICE, is doing a job that needs to be done. It is protecting the security and the interest of the American people, and you have a party now that is saying, essentially, we won't even pretend to enforce immigration anymore. We just believe that people ought to be able to come at will. That is a startling development. The American public needs to pay attention.
Well, and then finally and quickly, Ira, you've got in San Francisco, you've got local Democrats now voting to allow non-citizens to vote in local elections, which is just crazy.
I'm not sure they even realize the irony. While everybody is up in arms about foreign meddling in our elections, everybody except possibly for the president, we were offended by the Russians trying to hack into our election system. But here you have San Francisco inviting foreign nationals, please come in and meddle in our affairs. It is just astounding, the hypocrisy here.
It's wrong. Ira, thank you so much, my friend, this Friday. Appreciate it very much. Coming up, the link between terrorism and immigration. We'll get into that next.